Hey, what's up? Welcome back to the Analog Drift. This is episode 10. So I have been doing this blog for 10 weeks in a row. And it is finally October, my favorite month of the year. And I'd like to give you my top 5 favorite horror games of all time. Coming in at number 5 is Dino Crisis. A lot of you may not remember this game, but it's from 1991, the PS1 era. This was a Capcom game based off of the Resident Evil series game engine. And instead of zombies this time, you were fighting dinosaurs. So how cool is that? I'm surprised they haven't brought this series back into today's generation. I would definitely like to see Capcom bring this up to date. Maybe put it in the Resident Evil 5 engine. I think that would make a lot better game than what Resident Evil 5 was. Or at least put the original up on the PSN store. My fourth favorite game of all time was Silent Hill. Although the series is now a shell of its former self, I can't help but feel nostalgia about the first two games. This was another great title from the PS1 days. This game used fog to disguise its crappy PlayStation 1 graphics, but also the fog added to the tension, and combined that with some great sound effects. This game always kept me on edge. And you can get that one right now for $5.99 on the PSN store. And my third favorite game is Dead Space. I was a late adopter of this game, and I was so surprised. I didn't really expect everything that I got out of it. While this game is primarily a shooter, it does have its share of high-tension moments. The monsters in the game had that sort of human, sort of messed up look to them, and frantic movements that just kind of made you feel uneasy. And when they came jumping through the ventilation grates and crap like that, you really got a scare. I really like the world they fleshed out for Dead Space, and I'm looking forward to the movie and to Dead Space 2 whenever they come out. Next up on my list is Gears of War. I know this is another title that's real heavy on the shooter end, but with all the blood and guts in that game, how can you not call it horror? And the ability to carve your foes up with a chainsaw. I mean, not too many shooters let you do that. And while not packing too many other chills, there sure are a lot of thrills. And great multiplayer to boot. So, Gears of War, good stuff. And my number one favorite game of all time, favorite horror game that is Resident Evil. And when I say Resident Evil, I'm talking about zombies. I'm not talking about those crazy infected people or whatever they were from Resident Evil 4 and 5. Bring me back the zombies, which I don't know if Resident Evil is going to do that, so I'm looking forward to Dead Rising 2 on that end. But anyhow, I can think back to Resident Evil 5 and the fun I had with those games. My favorite Resident Evil games were the first two, and I like the remake that they had for Nintendo GameCube. And these games really, they kicked off the genre of horror. They're the ones that started it all. In my eyes, I know there's some other stuff on PC back in the day, but this is what really seemed like a horror movie in game life to me. Although a B horror movie, but anyhow, it was good stuff. And it was one of the few games from the PS1 era that I can actually go back and play. It still holds up today, and you can also pick that one up on the PSN store for $5.99 right now. So that's it. That's all I got. That's my top 5 favorite horror games. So if you need something to tickle your fancy for Halloween or whatever, go check out those titles. Anyhow, this has been the Analog Drift, and you can follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/PlatinumDragon7. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave them below. Thanks.